Today I'm going to run you through how to install the Simplisafe Smart Lock, the physical installation, and using the keypad to add it to your system. So the first thing you're going to need to do is find your lock. It's right there on the door. We're going to replace the deadbolt piece, just the inside deadbolt piece. This is the only piece that the Simplisafe lock replaces. We're going to remove those two screws that you see there and take this piece off. Now you might want to put a piece of painter's tape on the outside to hold it on. You should get a hole that looks somewhat like this. Then you're going to want to pull the Simplisafe lock out of its package. There's a metal piece on the back. If you pull those two wings out like this, that metal piece should just come right out. And you're going to want to find the screws for the metal piece to hold it in. And each lock has a couple of different screws, so there's a couple of different ones in here. They're different sizes. Just match up whatever you took off of your deadbolt to the corresponding lock here. And then you're going to make sure you secure that metal piece into the hole where your deadbolt was. Now this can be a little tedious because you can't really see, like physically see where the holes are, and it might take you just a minute, but if you persist, it should just go on just fine. And you want to make sure it's tight. Then when you get that on, you're going to want to look at this little hole right here in this metal rod that's protruding from your deadbolt. You're going to want to match that up with one of these adapters. In this case, we're going to use the red. If you have a different type, you might use blue, yellow, or green. But those adapters are then going to connect onto that little metal rod piece that comes out here. So you're going to push it in there, and then you're going to pull your Simplisafe lock out, match up the back to that adapter, and then push it on the metal piece on the wall. And then you click down on these two little wings. Now that should hold your lock in place, and it should be really solid there. If it doesn't, you're going to have to go back and screw it in a little tighter. Then you're going to want to open the battery compartment, and see that little white tab there. You're going to pull that little white tab there. There's also a button right above it. You can't see it very well in the video, but we're going to want to press that later. So once you pull that tab, you're ready to install it on your keypad. So you're going to get your keypad out, you're going to press menu and type in your PIN. This is what you're going to see, and you're going to go to devices. Once you get to devices, you're going to go to add a device. Now it's important to remember when you press down on the side of the screen, you actually have to press down on it firmly. It's not a touch screen. It needs to be pressed all the way down. So we're going to click add a device, and then we're going to scroll all the way down to the bottom of that list. The lock isn't until the very bottom of the list, and we're going to click add. And it's going to have you do a few things. It's going to have you press the button on the lock, and it's going to have you calibrate the lock. So you're going to close the door and lock it, and then Simplisafe will unlock it. And once it does that, it'll calibrate. You want to make sure your door just has a smooth in and out motion. If it doesn't, you're going to want to either call a locksmith or open that hole a little bit up on the door jamb. But once you do that, it's going to ask you to name the lock, which you'll probably name it front door because that's where people put it. If you put it in your back door, name it back door. And that's it. Your lock is installed and it's on your system. And thank you for watching.